Good morning from the Second Age of Reason. We're here to talk about Ron Paul. I've voted for him in the past, in years gone by, before I was a Republican. But now I've seen him in a debate, and I have a few things to say. And I'm in a quandary about voting for some candidates if they have some things that I really like and other things that are really stupid. Should I vote for them? I don't know. Let's look at some of Ron Paul's properties. One of which is he's against these wars. Probably there's at least 4 or 5, 6 wars going on. And he says we can't afford these wars. We have no business in these wars. Our military budget is way too big. It's bigger than all these other nations combined. So we need to really scale back on those military industrial entitlements. And on that count, I agree. And yeah, we need to pull back from all those nations we're occupying with our military bases and basically just patrol our borders and our coasts. That's what the military is all about. Maybe looking over our airspace, our outer space over our country. That's the important part. So I give him a thumbs up on that account. Then on the war on drugs, he says it's a total failure. It's a waste of money. It puts so many people in the jails, which is a big expense and drain on society. And on that count, I say, you're right. I agree with him on that. They need to decriminalize the drugs. And if they want to really combat them, they should give them away for free. The whole thing behind the drug trade and the drug cartels is making money. And if you give it away for free, they can't make money. So that's one way to attack it. And then once you've decriminalized it and you give it away for free, you just put on some proper labeling. You might label cannabis as mulch. And what you do with mulch is, who cares? And the other things that are more dangerous and toxic, well, you label them as rat poison. And if people want to eat rat poison, you understand then that they either have some kind of health issue, some kind of problem that needs to be addressed. And it's a health issue, not a criminal issue. And that way, if we had a decent healthcare system, it would take care of that. And so that's the take on that part. And I agree with Ron Paul in that count. So those are 2 really good pluses. But on the other hand, he has some minuses, which makes me wonder if I should vote for him. One of the minuses was in the debates when they asked him about bringing the jobs back to America. And he went into some weird talk about the taxing system, that we should do away with taxes and regulations, which I think is kind of not related entirely. The government has nothing to do with bringing jobs here or there. That's the function of private enterprise, of business. And so I think he's totally wrong on that count, and that's stupid. And then on the other count, he also doesn't believe in all this printing of money. Well, they don't print money anymore. It's electronic. They go on a computer and they edit this number and add an extra 0 on the end, and boom, they've increased the money supply. And that's how it works now. And he said, well, it's going to make inflation. Well, it's not making inflation, because if it did, we would see all our wages going up like crazy. And so he's totally wrong on that count. He wants to make the money gold. Well, let me tell you about gold. It's pretty much the fixed commodity in the world. And if you have twice as many people, there's only half as much gold per person, so the whole world becomes twice as poor. So it's a stupid idea as well. You need to have a money supply that grows with the population and grows with productivity in order to keep up. We're not having inflation right now. I mean, we should. We're not, because even though they've made all this money, it's been squirreled away. It's not accessible. It's not in the hands of wage earners. If the wages had gone up and people were spending, it would create demand, and the demand would drive up the prices. So until that happens, there ain't going to be any inflation. In fact, we're going to probably have some deflation, which is one of the hallmarks of a depression. So I'm in a quandary about Ron Paul. And then there was the cartoon. They made like a cartoon from Disney's Robin Hood, like a Ron Paul Hood, where they made him out to be Robin Hood. You know, that he's some kind of hero in Sherwood Forest. Well, Robin Hood stole from the rich and gave to the poor. And that's not Ron Paul's modus operandi. I don't think Ron Paul would have been a Robin Hood. He's more of the guy who would just sit back and say, I don't think we should interfere with the rich aristocrats having all their money. I mean, they're the ones who create the castles, and they're the ones who liberate the Holy Land, and they're the ones who make sure that the church is well funded and can have bigger things. And I don't think we should interfere in any of that. That's the Ron Paul line, not the we're going to take money from here and put it on there. That's not. So it seemed to me it was a nice little cartoon take on it, and some of the mappings of this to that were interesting, but it had no bearing on the reality.